Ever wonder how a fleet of fishing boats and tiny pleasure crafts saved an entire army and changed the course of history? Let's travel back to the spring of 1940 to a sandy beach in France called Dunkirk. It was a scene of utter desperation. Over 300,000 British and Allied soldiers were cornered, their backs to the sea, with the full might of the German army closing in. The situation was catastrophic. If these men were captured or killed, Britain might have lost the war right then and there. The future of the free world hung by a thread. In London, a desperate plan was hatched: Operation Dynamo. The goal was to evacuate as many soldiers as possible. There was a huge problem. The powerful warships of the Royal Navy were too large to get close to the shallow beaches where the soldiers were stranded. Men were wading out into the water, hoping to be picked up, but it was slow and dangerous. The initial estimates, they hoped to save maybe 45,000 men over several days. It seemed like a lost cause. That's when one of the most incredible calls to action in history was made. The British government sent out an urgent plea, not to other armies, but to its own people. They asked anyone with a boat, no matter how small, to help. Fishermen, dentists, bankers, retirees, ... Ordinary citizens heard the call, and they answered. From ports all along the English coast, strange and wonderful fleets set sail. It was a flotilla of fishing trawlers, yachts, sailboats, lifeboats, and even private motorboats. These became known as the little ships of Dunkirk. Imagine the scene. Hundreds of small, rickety vessels, many of which had never left the sight of land, boldly crossing the choppy, dangerous waters of the English Channel. Their skippers were not sailors or soldiers. They were civilians who knew they were sailing directly into the English. They faced constant threats. German aircraft strafed the beaches, bombed the ships, while enemy artillery shelled the walls. The journey was a terrifying gauntlet of fire and explosions. Yet these volunteers didn't turn back. They steered their small boats right up to the beaches, sometimes grounding them on the sand, to pull exhausted soldiers aboard. They ferried men from the shore to the larger destroyers, waiting in deeper water, making trip after trip under relentless attack. Their courage was astounding. These were people with no military training, armed with nothing but their bravery and a deep sense of duty. They saw men drowning and plucked them from the sea. They dodged bombs and bullets to get one more boatload of soldiers to safety. It was a race against time, fueled by pure human spirit. And then, something almost magical happened. A series of fortunate events, what many called miracles, aided the evacuation. For several crucial days, the English Channel, known for its rough seas, became unusually calm, making it easier for the small boats to cross. Then, thick fog rolled in, providing cover from the German Air Force. Most mysteriously, the German ground forces, which had been advancing so rapidly, were ordered to halt just miles from Dunkirk. Historians still debate why this happened, but this pause gave the evacuation a critical window of opportunity. Thanks to this combination of civilian bravery and sheer luck, the outcome was nothing short of miraculous. The initial goal was to save 45,000 soldiers. But when the operation ended after 9 frantic days, an astonishing 338,000 Allied troops had been rescued from the beaches of Dunkirk. They were brought back to Britain, exhausted, having left all their equipment behind. They were alive. Home. While technically a retreat, Dunkirk was transformed into a victory of the Union spirit. It electrified the British people. The story of the little ships became a powerful symbol of national unity and resilience. It showed that when faced with impossible odds, ordinary people could achieve extraordinary things. The Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, called it a miracle of deliverance. The Dunkirk spirit came to represent the idea that in the darkest of times, courage, solidarity, and a refusal to give up can make all the difference. The legacy of Dunkirk reminds us that history isn't just shaped by generals and politicians. It's also shaped by the fisherman who risks his boat, the yachtsman who sails into danger, and the countless everyday heroes who rise to the occasion when they are needed most. It proves that even in the face of overwhelming darkness, the collective courage of ordinary people can shine a light that changes the world. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories from history. See you next time.